Doug, we're just going to talk to you on the phone, it sounds like.
Okay, because I can't. I've been trying, guys.
It's okay. We're live on Jessica's phone, and I just called you off my phone. We're just going to roll with it like that. And you know what? It's their loss because they're not going to get to see your pretty face.
Oh, thank the good Lord Jesus.
You've always said you kind of have a face for radio. And
I do.
You know what I mean? Like,
do. And I got a voice for the deaf, so I can't speak in Braille.
There you go.
So I'll do the best I can.
Okay, just if people are watching, comment and make sure you can hear Doug. We want to make sure you can hear Doug. So, Doug, do you remember how we met? I just kind of told the story about Sean, but do you remember where it was? I can't remember. Was it ATA?
ATA show.
That's
yes.
Right. And who were you? Were you with just Horny Buck then? I thought you were with like a Christian something organization at the time too.
We were doing some stuff. Well, actually, it was just me, myself. I came with a group, a couple different guys that came with me.
Uh-huh.
Always kind of like to think we're a Christian group, even though, you know, and you guys kind of know where my morals and values are.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know, getting into this industry, I didn't realize how it really was and how it worked, but we stuck to our guns, and it honestly worked out pretty good, you know?
Yeah, for sure it did. Okay, so the people have been waiting. They want to know food plot stuff. So, a couple of questions that are coming off my head, and if anybody has questions, to just write them in the comments, and I'll ask Doug because he can't see them obviously, so I'll have to.
But they can hear him.
They can hear him though. So, Doug, first question I have. Okay, is it better to spray and then mow, or mow and then spray?
Spray and then mow. Here's the problem. You know, you'll get a quicker kill. Mm-hmm. You know, if you would mow it and then spray it. The problem is you're always going to end up with residue, and residue is going to cover a lot of the green, you know, that's covered up, and it's not going to be able to suck into spray. Now, if a guy was to, you know, go with like a flail chopper, and people know what that is, or some way to remove the residue, and then you spray it, it'll be dead, you know, instantaneously. But, you know, when I spray my food plots, rule of thumb, will take and I will spray them, and I'll leave them like 24 hours. And sometimes they do need to get mowed if they're that long. Uh-huh. But what I try to do is I try to do a weed kill a couple times a year, so I can keep them big weeds at bay. You know, the problem is this is the problem I run into as a whole. Men are procrastinators.
Oh, for sure.
And you know, so here's what's going to happen, and I've dealt with this now for the last, you know, I would say 2 weeks. You know, a guy goes to his plot because he looked at it when he was shed hunting.
Or turkey hunting.
Or turkey hunting, and there was like, you know, 2 inches of grass.
Now
you know, and they go back now to look at their plot, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's 3 feet tall. What do I do? And I'm like, well, you know, where were you all summer? Well, I didn't think it was going to grow. Well, you know, grass and weeds will always find a way.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You know,
I guess the question that I have is, if you spray and then mow, if say you have Johnson grass, if you spray it and kills it and then you mow it, does it replant the seeds in and you need to spray it again?
Well, you know, the weed seeds can sit dormant. I try to do all my weed killing, obviously, way before, you know, I try to do all my weed killing way before it's going to even seed out or come to a head.
Okay, so say you're going to plant in, like, this week. You would have sprayed, what, a month ago?
Well, I start spraying in May.
Okay.
I will spray in May, and then I will spray it, I will kill it, and I will till it, and I will leave it for 30 days.
Okay.
40 days. Then I will go back, and I will do that ritual all over again. Uh-huh. Now, if the soil is really poor and it needs lime, you know, we have liquid lime, which is the bomb, but I still put down, powdered lime, or because, you know what, long-term effects with the ag lime, I try to get the ag lime in early, because ag lime takes, you know, months to break down. See, the biggest hidden problem that we have, or assumption, is from, you know, many of the people we deal with they're not farmers. Okay, so here's the problem. it's all part of the process.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So here is where I run into the biggest issue is many people have an illusion of how things work, but not a reality of how things work.
Uh-huh.
You can't go out and go and put out, go spread your line and put your fertilizer out and plant your seeds and everything's going to work perfectly.
Uh-huh.
Well, line takes a while to break down. So, and they don't understand this. Or if they're using a high nitrogen product, which is okay, they just go throw it on top of the soil and they don't work it in. Well, nitrogen goes up, it don't go down.
Uh-huh.
And so it's a struggle.
So
go ahead. It's a big struggle.
So I used your liquid lime, and when I did it, I sprayed liquid lime and weed killer at the same time. Is that okay?
I have a lot of people do that. The key though to lime, this liquid lime, is you do not want to get it buried in the soil too deep.
Uh-huh.
Because you realistically need it to activate, to work, so that your root structures can accept all of the nitrogen that it's going to be, or the fertilizer that's going to be taking in. So I till. I'm a rototiller. I'm not a disker. I'm not a plower. I'm a rototiller. Less is always more, especially in sandy soil, because for every inch you go down, you're bringing up 3 inches of moisture. So, you got to start thinking outside the box. So if you can till it lightly, and now some years, a lot of places, and I'm sure, a lot of, our customers have gotten an overabundance of rain.
At times.
But if you haven't, sometimes light tilling is all you need. Quick and to the point. That's it.
Yeah.
So you can set the soil.
Some people are asking, does Horny Buck Seed have a chicory seed blend?
It's in our Big Racks blend, yes.
Okay. Let me see. What's your average food plot size? It's hard to get a couple acres up here in Wisconsin in the dense woods and forests on particular 40-acre parcels. So what do you?
And I respect that, and I totally understand that. To me, I explain this. This is how I explain food plots to me and to customers so they understand. To me, a food plot to me is 3 acres or more. Now, a lot of people look at me like I'm smoking crack, but here's the deal. Where you're at, different people are at, they can only get a 1/4 acre, and to me, that is a transition plot or a shot plot.
Yeah, kill plot.
It's a kill plot, whatever you want to call it. I found in all my research that I have done with deer, the smaller the plot, the more deer congregate, the more the food gets eaten quicker. The bigger the plot, even though you're like, well, of course there's more food there, I found that they eat less on a bigger plot than if they would on a smaller plot, which realistically makes no sense.
Right.
But yet in the same time, animals are all about competition. So if there's competition, all of a sudden they're on a small plot and there's Helen, Betty, and Stan out there.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, we better fill up because, man, this is going to be gone. We cannot eat. I noticed that in fall. It's just like, baiting. If the bait is there and if you bait little, they're coming out faster and they're coming out earlier.
Uh-huh.
Because they know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
So if they don't get out there, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
The deer are they're very intelligent, but yet dumb mammals.
Yeah.
I know that I say that to people and they look at me like, oh, deer are really smart. No, why are deer smart? Because look in the mirror. You made them smart.
Yeah. So what would you, if a guy has, say he has 3 acres that he can plant into a food plot, would you suggest doing the whole 3 acres then, or would you suggest doing a 2-acre food plots and leaving an acre in grass, or doing some switch grass, or doing something that kind of breaks it up, and so the one plot can't see the other plot, so they come out better?
You know what? That is such a loaded question, Josh.
You can't ask that loaded question.
In the nation. I mean, I have places that you can't plant enough groceries because there's so doggone many deer.
Uh-huh.
And I have places where the deer density is really low, and the timber is really thick. So, they have great bedding, they have great head. It depends upon where you're located, geographically in the States. You can do it any different way you want. If you can do anything to do a seclusion, you're winning.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. If you can do anything to give your deer a seclusion, you give them a hiding spot. If they have a water spot, a bedding area, and a food area, deer will stay put. And I'm going to run into this coming up. And we've all as hunters have seen this. Everybody goes to me, the deer were coming out of my camera all hours of the day, and all of a sudden now they're all nocturnal. And I'm like, could it be because you're checking your cameras, or you're in the woods? Well, yeah, I'm there, and I'm like, well, you know what? We make them nocturnal.
Yeah.
Deer are, deer will sleep during the day. They will sleep at night. And, it depends on how
pressure.
It's all about pressure. And I'm talking, certain places, pressure don't bother deer as much as other places. Every place is different. Don't care where you travel. Every place is unique.
Yeah, I like the deer that are in people's backyards that they don't care about human scent. They don't care about any of that stuff. It makes you look like a really good hunter when you can get on those deer.
Oh, urban deer are phenomenal.
Yes.
They're boxing the rocks.
Yeah.
You go put a carrot at the end of the barrel, and they're going to come up and sniff it.
Right.
Right.
So what would you say for people that are in the Midwest like we are, it's food plot time right now. So we planted Tankalicious and Tagged Out and Sweet Frost now. What would you kind of recommend kind of do a sandy soil, and then there's a regular good soil, and then I want to wrap back around to fertilizers and liquid limes after you kind of suggest what you would suggest for people throughout the Midwest.
Okay, before I get to that, I kind of didn't get to finish Chad's question. Okay. About the size of plots and up in the Northwoods. Uh-huh. Up in a lot of them areas, we do a lot big racks and Luckelbach, mostly big racks. For the standpoint, the Clover, alfalfa, and chicory come back. It's about amount of light units in a day. Just make sure your pH is anywhere between 6.5 and 7, and plant earlier. If you're in northern Wisconsin, plant after the 4th of July. I know everybody's like, are you nuts? And I'm like, you can get a killing frost, end of August up north. So, so guys, just kind of use your judgment and don't overseed our products. Now, getting back to your question that you had, our hardest downfall that I have is seeding rates. When I tell people, less is more, they look at me like a deer in the headlights because they're like, I don't know how to seed. And I respect that because it took me years.
Well, we know how to seed. We just stick it in the little hopper and spin the wheel and walk as fast as we can and put it on 2 and then go. But me, I've told you for years, man, I get my tops are huge, but I don't got any bulbs. And you just look at me like I'm dumb and just, well, how thick was it? Well, I couldn't, take a step without stepping on 25 plants. And you're like, well, there's your problem.
It's too, because, these bulbs need room to grow.
And so, so your bags say, was it 5 pounds or 4 pounds per half acre? So how do you go? What tip would you give people so they don't overseed? Because I'm one of the people that wants that tip.
Well, okay, 2 things, and this is just me, and I just tell people this is how I do it. And if everybody's got their own way, their own niche, their own whatever knack, I don't care whatever you call it. I don't read directions. I'm a typical man. Males don't read directions. So what I do is I buy an Earthway bag seeder. That is what I seed with. It's nylon geared.
Which is a bag seeder, right?
A bag seeder. Okay. It's a red bag seeder made by Earthway. When you spin it, it's relatively quiet. And when I hear ticking, I start walking. Mm-hmm. I still spin it pretty fast, so it'll spread out about 12 to 15 feet, depending on how fast I spin it. And on an average, our seed blends have right between 500,000 to 600,000 seeds per pound.
Wow.
Okay? So, when you're spinning and it's flinging, you got seeds going everywhere. Okay? So, this is all part of it. It sucks to learn, but I don't use gauges. I don't use dimensions. I just use my ears, and until I need hearing aids, I'm golden.
Yeah, no, I agree. I always just use actually, I've become so lazy that I actually picked up a Scott's Easy Spinner from Walmart, which is it's a kind of a spinner, but it holds about 6 pounds, and you just pull the trigger and it just it spins it for you. So,
you know, Josh, you and I got to sit down and have a long
you know, probably about more than just food plots, honestly, about life stuff and a lot of other things, I'm sure.
Doug, I'd love for you to come and plant with the kids like we did last night, because I think Josh was about to have a heart attack watching them. Yeah,
Josh is not an expert planter by any stretch of the imagination, but when the kids take it over, I don't have anxiety, but watching them plant gave me anxiety.
And I don't know what kind of designs we're gonna have in the food plot now, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have to give me a little leeway there, just because I had 3 little kids and this 4th one over here running around, and
I got a blister to show for that.
She has a blister from her.
A blister from what?
A blister from turning that little cranky thing.
That's how you know you have really hard work hands.
Yes. These are working hands here.
All those dental tools, they just don't callus anymore.
Right.
We got to sit down and have a chat.
Right.
Well, we always talked about doing a how-to video, and you know what? It probably wouldn't be such a bad idea.
No, it's a great idea. I would love to help with that and do individual questions and walk people through the start. Okay, you got permission. You got a farmer said, you know what? Look, I don't farm all the way to that back corner, and it's roughly a half an acre. If you can clean it up, you can food plot it. Because I've done that. I mean, farmers want to get the most out of their cropland, but if there's a corner with a bunch of trees down or something like that they don't really want to get out and mess with it, if you mess with it, they'll let you probably plant it. And so walk them through. How do you, okay, you get the permission. Okay, it's 7-foot tall Johnson grass. Where do I even start? You know, you don't even know where to start. You're going to mow it, then you're going to replant all the Johnson grass seeds, and it's going to just be, then you're going to plant it, and all that's going to come up is Johnson grass and 4 turnips.
Well, and you know, here's the deal. I try to explain this to what I call my first timers. I try to explain this to them in a nice way. I just tell them right out, flat out, listen, it takes 3 years to get a food plot 100% the way you want it. And it's, you know, I'm going back down to pH testing. I'm going back down to your lime, going back down to your fertilization. I'm going back down to mostly weed control. Weed control is 80% of your food plot, you know, as far as what we have control over.
Yeah.
Because Mother Nature has 100% control of your food plots, unless you have an irrigation system, but you still need the heat units, you still need the sun, you still need all of those aspects that we cannot do. But, you know, you still need to do everything 100% correct on your end and let Mother Nature take its course. Because Mother Nature always wins. It doesn't matter what we do. Yeah. She wins. That's it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have customers right now. I'm taking probably 30, 40 calls a day right now in text. And they're at
Doug.
Which, I mean, just so you know, Doug's the owner of Horny Buck Seed. So when you call the number on the back of the bag or the website or whatever, you're getting the head honcho. You're not getting the rear of the horse. You're getting the head of the horse.
Well, you can call me a horse's ass too, I guess, if that makes you feel better. But
you get the whole horse.
You get the whole horse. But I mean, I take pride in customer service because nobody, I tell you what got me really into customer service, and I'm sure I can speak for almost everybody that's listening. How many times we call an 800 number and we ended up talking to somebody that no hablad, or they were, hello, Mr. Kutriba, how are you doing today? I don't, they're in either Indonesia, Philippines, Pakistan, Sudan, wherever, and they can't answer my questions. Mm-hmm. And I mean, first of all, they're telling me to speak English. I am speaking English. I am speaking English. I'm not stuttering, and it's a pet peeve of mine. So if a customer has a problem or a question, most of them have questions. Most of my customers don't have problems. They just don't. They're scared. I have a lot of customers, what I call are scared. They don't want to do something wrong, mess up, whatever. Because I try to relay this to almost everybody when I do my seminar, and I know this might sound stupid, but it's 100% truth. Your seed is about your cheapest part of your food plot. Yeah. And they look at me like, oh no, it ain't. I can go to a Fleet Farm or I can go to, Gander Mountain or whatever, and I can buy this stuff that's $5 a bag cheaper than yours. I said, okay. All right. Well, there you go. So you save $5. Now, is it coated? Well, I don't know. And I said, well, how long has it been sitting on the shelf? Well, I don't know. And I said, okay, so that is the cheapest part of your food plot, right? Yeah. I said, okay, let me explain this to you. I mean, the most expensive, they say. I said, okay, let me explain this to you. I said, if you don't own land, you got to buy land. If you got to buy land, you got to pay tax on the land. If you don't have land, you got to lease land. If you're lucky enough that Uncle Jim will let you hunt for free, you already are a stick ahead. But now you either got to spray the plot, kill the plot, work up the plot, buy a tractor, buy the fuel, take your time, go through everything, get everything where you need it to go, get the fertilizer on, put the lime on, do the weed killing, and you're going to worry about going to a feed mill and saving $3. And they look at me like, I never really thought of it. It's kind of like if you bought a brand new truck, and are you going to go to Walmart and buy the cheapest oil you can get when you're going to want to do an oil change? No. Right. It's not, apples to apples. So I tried to explain this to people, and I think they're catching on. And we're very fair market, but one thing is we're 100% fresh. And I tried to explain that to customers, and they are getting, this year we're up over 30% in seed out the door. Wow.
Good for you.
Good for you. It's been astronomically insane.
And I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, that's probably, that's why you don't have any big TV shows that you pump a bunch of money into just to get your name out there or anything. Your company is grown by word of mouth, and that says something huge for your brand.
And that's exactly what it is. I won't put crap in a bag. It's just not who we are. And I mean, we're pretty small, little family base. We're growing to the point where I'm going to have to start thinking about needing help because, I mean, it's bad.
Yeah. You're a stressed man because you're so busy because you're always helping people.
Well, and that's exactly it. And I think I'm getting, it's tough, but you know what? I love helping people. That is why God put me on this earth, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the success stories, I mean, I'm just so humble that people write some of the nicest things or call and say the nicest things. Or, I get emails and I get what I call beer porn religiously. And then I get plot porn religiously. And I get these stories like, oh my God, you helped me with my food plot. I never could grow a food plot in 5 years. And I did this and look at the buck I shot. And they don't even share a lot of this on social media. So for me, it's a win. It's just a victory, and I enjoy doing what I do. I love people. I love helping people. That's just who I am. And I love planting food plots. I do. I enjoy it. I love the end results. I love watching them grow. And we've been pretty blessed. The plots I planted this year, just because we've been getting rain. Now I know we've had some really bad storms this year, and obviously you took the brunt of it up over there in Kansas. And up in our neck of the woods here, we didn't have a tornado. Well, they said there's some tornadoes, but I think they said today that over 50,000 acres in our county alone was leveled.
Wow. And you're a big timber state.
And we're a very big timber state. They're talking millions and millions of cords are laying on the ground right now. And these loggers are trying to clean them up and pick them up. And they said it's going to take years. Well, by then the wood's going to be no good, It's a sad situation, but I'm trying to look at it from a positive. Good will come from it. It's just going to take a while. Good will come from it. Weather it's tough. It is very tough.
Yeah. Okay, let's try to help a couple more people. Daniel Howard, he wants. Is there a perennial seed that you can put on a plot? Irrigation is in place. And he's in South Texas.
Okay, Texas is an animal all on its own because of the standpoint of the pH of the soil. Now, I don't know what his pH is. I know a lot of them, they need sulfur. They're a little bit higher. Anything with alfalfa, we have some customers growing tagged out, and a lot of tagged out down in Texas, especially if they can keep the hogs off of it.
Or javelinas or whatever, yeah.
Yes. But I got some customers in Texas killing some really good deer.
So what would you say is tagged out then?
Well, tagged out has been doing really good down there, and so is checkmate. That one there, they plant a little later. They plant that middle of September.
Yeah.
And it's been lights out for them.
The next one is, if we have clover, what can we spray on it to keep the plot weed free? And I always use kind of the Arrest Max is what the one I always kind of used.
And that is a very good one. You know, there's a lot of variable ones that you can use out there. The main thing is just like, okay, it's no different than like Roundup. Okay, everybody goes, oh, Roundup. Well, you know, Roundup is just the brand name. It's the killing agent like glyphosate. You know, so you got to try to get, you know, into that. I don't know, acethodem, which is a killing agent that's going to kill your grasses and clover. I mean, and there's a lot of different ones. I know High Yield is a brand name that makes something called Grass Killer. And that one I know works.
But won't kill your clover?
It won't kill your clover, no.
Perfect.
And I know you can get that. What I'll do, Josh, is I will try to share a picture of it with you right now on FaceCrack. I mean, on your, I'll do it. I'll just text it to you.
Okay, that's fine. I know Kyle, so I can get it to Kyle. Okay, so
maybe post it in the comments.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments so everybody can see it. Okay, Daniel said seed is growing in 3 days. I'm happy, and his seed can't wait till the rain has it all popped up. I know for me, you talked about how fresh your seed is. I know that my seed that I just planted a week ago has already popped, and my seed is Tornado Survivor seed. So my seed I got from you at the Iowa Whitetail Deer Classic. So, I mean, that to me, I mean, it went through. I mean, that goes to your bagging too, but it survived, and it instantly popped right up. I think 4 days or something, it was already germinated and up. So, and that was sweet frost.
I know the state came in and inspected us last year, and they called me back. It's a long story, and I'll share this another time, which is actually made me feel pretty humble. They took our seed, and they said they tested all of our blends, and they said they have never in their life, as long as they've been testing seed, had such a great germ life in it ever. They said every seed cracked within 24 hours. Wow. That's where I get into this. People don't.
Oh, you're breaking up.
When I was brought up, you know, when you hear of germination, you know, like the word germination. Well, germination to me would be growing. I mean, everybody else would be growing. Well, according to the weights and measures, it just means that your seed cracked. That's it. That's the form of germination. It doesn't mean that it emerged. It doesn't mean that it sprouted. It just means that it cracked. So, you know, that sweet frost, that stuff is bulletproof.
It grows all over my driveway because, it grows all over my driveway from falling out of my tailgate or whatever. I mean, it's always doing that. So, hey, back to lime and fertilizer. So say my sweet frost is coming up. It's probably an inch tall, and it's got the elephant ears. I planted the tagged out and the Tankalicious separately so I can kind of see the strips of what's there. I did a soil test, and it isn't back yet, but I have a feeling it's an old hay field, and I just broke it, so it's going to need some help. So can I spray the liquid lime? And I've noticed that, I mean, I haven't even said anything to you about this. I've seen a lot of people complaining about, not complaining, but saying that the lime will clog up their sprayers, which probably means they have a cheap sprayer. And
and it usually isn't. A lot of my customers that I've talked to, back to men don't read directions. Here's what a lot of guys do. And I mean, and I've witnessed this, and I would probably do it the same way if I didn't know better. What they'll do is they will fill their tank up with water, and then they'll go dump the lime in the tank of water right out of the jug. Here's the problem. it settles right to the bottom.
Uh-huh.
I had a guy, actually, he's a UPS driver, became friends now.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to try it this year. All of his buddies, and he doesn't have a spray, so all of his buddies would not let them use their sprayer because they felt that it was going to crap up their sprayer.
Right.
So I just said, just come and get it. So he came and grabbed mine. I explained to him how to do it, and I told him everything, how it works and everything. He brought it right back. He cleaned it all out. He goes, man, that thing sprays. So I said, see, if you do it right, it works great. If you don't, it won't.
Yeah, and make sure you check your filters, because that was my problem. Mine bound up, but then I got home and washed it all out and was angry and whatever. And then I checked the little the where your tube goes into your actual pump, and it was so clogged up with junk and stuff that it couldn't have sprayed water hardly.
Right, and that listen, you got to remember, you're spraying liquid rock, but you got to thin it out properly, and you got to mix it properly. So yeah. I dump it into a 5-gallon bucket with about 3 gallons of water in it. I take a stick, I swish it around.
How much are you putting in 5 gallons? The whole thing?
The whole gallon.
Okay.
I put it in about 3 gallons in I think a 5-gallon bucket. Put about 2 to 3 gallons of water in it.
Uh-huh.
Dump a gallon in. It's because it's like Elmer's glue. I take a stick and I mix it. Then I dump that into my tank that's got 15 gallons of water already in it. I have never had an issue ever.
And so can I spray lime on my plants with my fertilizer?
I don't have a problem with it. I don't do it in the heat of the day.
Right.
That'll burn them. But you can do it in the evening or early in the morning when there's dew. We're going to start getting into the dew stages. In fact, I noticed this morning I got up and man, was there a heavy dew?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep, fall is right around the corner.
Yep. We have that too, and I think honestly we haven't had the big soaking rains. We've had a ton of rain, like record amounts of rain this year, but it comes in 12 inches at a time, 4 inches at a time, and massive just waves of flash floods. And we need just a steady soaking rain. And ours is germinated without any of those, really. And I think it's realistically straight from the dew in the ground moisture, because we didn't chop deep into it. And I think the dew is just germinated it.
Oh, absolutely. And back to a valid point. Seed to ground contact is so crucial. You pack that seed in, a little bit of dirt goes over it, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah. So, is there anything we can do to help our plants now that they're in? Besides, is liquid fertilizer the way to go, or should we granular still? And is it?
Well, I always try to tell people this: fertilization is fertilization. Mm-hmm. It's all going to be good in moderation, or if you do it correctly. It's just that simple. So, I try to do all my fertilizing before I plant. It's just because I don't want to go back and disturb the plants. I just don't. I have already sprayed liquid on them, and it works great. Mm-hmm. But that's only. Get to the nutritional value of your fertilizer. So sometimes you do have to refertilize.
And what do you fertilize? Are you doing 1313? Are you doing 4600? Or how are you doing it?
I try to tell people if I got to go out and get something, we have our own fertilizer, which is a slow release nitrogen. And that's what I use. It's called Tandem Pro granular. Mm-hmm. But if you're near a co-op, rule of thumb, almost every co-op has either got 19, 13, 17.
Right.
If I'm going to do that, I go on an average 200 pounds to the acre.
200 pounds per acre of the 13.
Average 200 pounds to the acre. Wow. I put that down. I incorporate it in. In other words, I lightly tip it in. I pack it, feed it, pack it. I'm done.
Nice. Awesome. Daniel Howard asks again, can I plant turnips in West Texas? And he's in West Texas. I think he had irrigation, he said.
You can. here's the problem with Texas deer. Turnips on an average, deer really, they need to freeze for the deer to really, really like them. So, I have a lot of customers in Texas. Now back to our blends, we use tagged out, and the reason why is most of them are palatable without frost. So even the radishes, the deer love them. None of them, only one that really needs a freeze is the turnips. Now, turnips are good. The deer will still eat them. They like them. They'll eat the tops, but they usually are when they're a little bit bitter. They, before they freeze, they're a little bit bitter, and then once they freeze, they turn just sweet and then turn into carbs, and that's what the deer need and like.
Yeah. I mean, would he be better off doing like a Feathered Friends or something like that, even like doing the Milos and sunflowers and stuff down there if it's irrigated, and doing like a.
Well, we do a lot of Feathered Friends is a phenomenal blend, especially for deer. It was, geared more towards obviously birds, but it's phenomenal.
Feathered Friends, for people that don't know, is sunflowers, millet, sorghums, buckwheat, stuff like that Milo-ish kind of stuff where they can go, and we use it kind of as buffer strips in between kind of plots that gets a little tall, that gives us a little cover and plant it along edges so deer can come out and feel a little more comfortable. But then also for us, it keeps deer healthy throughout those hard winters in Kansas where it gets really cold, and when there's nothing left else to eat, they go out and you'll see them eating those millet heads and sorghum heads, and they'll just eat the tops off the buckwheat and all that stuff. The sunflowers, obviously, they usually nip those off right when they come up because they love those young sunflowers. But Daniel Howard asks again, labs or turnips for West Texas? He's hard on the turnips. You're trying to tell him to stay away from turnips, aren't you?
Well, I'm not going to say stay away from them. If it's working, that's great. Mm-hmm. There is nothing wrong with it. I got guys in Texas that the deer just hammer them, and I got places in Texas where the deer, they're kind of like, if not today, tomorrow. And it's no different in even Wisconsin. I've had places where a guy, he planted sweet frost, and he's like, them damn deer ain't touching that thing. I said, because maybe they don't know what they are. First and foremost, and he went out with an axe and he cut up them, and a bunch of hogs got in there. So there is nothing. If the deer eat them where you're at, plant them. Yeah, it's that simple. It's a cheap food source. That's the way I look at it.
What about like a ryegrass? A ryegrass down for him too.
Well, winter rye is phenomenal.
Like a checkmate or even.
Anything, get our in our checkmate blend.
Right.
So a lot of that in Texas, just because it's got the winter peas in it, it's got turnips in it, it's got the
oats
and a buck forage oats, and I mean them deer love it. They love it down there. They like that grassier type of a texture of a plant, and that's their too. Yeah. Well, you gotta everybody back to the geographical area. Every place is different.
Yeah. And I think, it might even be worth doing on your first year, doing your food plot, kind of do a mix. Do a row of checkmate, do a row of sweet frost, do a row of, whatever, tankalicious or something like that, and just see what they like, what works the best in your soil conditions, and then go from there.
Yeah, it's all about trying to figure out what's going to be palatable to your deer. And what they're going to like. It's all part of the product. That's why our blends are kind of busy, but they always have something in them that the deer will be attracted to.
Right. Well, there's variety, and I think I used to be hard on just purple top turnips. I'd go to the co-ops and just buy purple top turnips, and I'd just have a big field of purple top turnips. Well, and a lot of times, honestly, our deer didn't touch the turnips in some of our plots. First year, you'd cut them up, they wouldn't even touch them, and it's like, well, you're setting yourself up for failure if you just do one. You're doing just purple top turnips. Just like sweet frost, they have radishes and stuff in there, but it's heavy on the turnips, which I like now because our deer are kind of accustomed to them. So, but I'm really excited for the tankalicious and the tagged out this year. Those are the ones that I'm really, really excited to see what the deer do to those, because we made a switch from the sweet frost.
You there?
Yep, I'm still here. Are you there? Oh, I can hear you now.
There you go. Yeah, I lost you there for a little bit. I don't know.
No, that's okay. I was rambling anyway. Okay, so what would be kind of your final takeaway that they've planned their food plot? Like, what do you what would you suggest after that? Or for people in the South, like Daniel Howard, like what would you say for the people? So Kansas is kind of in their peak of planting right now. I've seen like the Lindsay Way and stuff like that. Everybody throughout Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, all those are planting now. Oklahoma will probably be next, and then obviously South Texas after that. What would you say for the people? The Midwest people should be planting now. The Oklahoma people should be probably doing soil prep, and so should the Texas people.
Well, I mean, for me right now, if it, you know, like you said, back to the soil testing, I'm sure a lot of them got that done. Our bigger sellers, as far as what customers are happy with, it's either the tank, the tagged out, dead zone. If you're good at seeding, dead zone is absolutely phenomenal. And the checkmate and the sweet frost are all doing very, very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Even a Lucko buck, if a guy wants to have an all clover plot, plant it, the later the better, they'll get a good catch.
And it's okay to plant clover in the fall.
Oh, that's all I do is plant all my clovers in the fall.
Huh, you don't
get a better catch through the fall than they do in the spring.
Huh? Really? I've always heard frost seed. Always frost seed.
Frost seeding is fine. Well, you know, but if you can get a root structure growing, they'll go dormant. They'll just sit there all winter, and in the spring they get an early start.
There you go. So, okay, so people in Oklahoma, what blend would you say for them, depending on if it's a sandy soil?
Either the checkmate or the tagged out is doing really good down there. Tank is doing exceptionally well too, just because the radishes have got a pretty good root base, you know. So they'll give them all good extra groceries.
Nice. TJ just said, just got in Feathered Friend, Sweet Frost, and in game. Excited to see what happens.
Awesome.
What would you say about Feathered Friends this late? Is it gonna pop and be tall, or like is it gonna be being nipped off? Kind of like if you planted soybeans now, they're gonna pop up and then you could till them under and get some nitrogen and stuff back in your ground.
Yeah, I mean the Feathered Friends. I mean, you know, it depends on your density. They're gonna like it. They're gonna be pounding on that pretty good. I guarantee you that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say about Texas people? Same thing as Oklahoma, kind of the checkmate. And...
Yep. Checkmate, tagged out, and tank.
Okay. One more thing I want to touch on before we get out of here. People ask me all the time what minerals I use. We obviously use your minerals. Is there a bad time to have minerals out? Well, I mean, I know they only use it when they need it. Is it something you would put out now, or just hold off until January and February when everybody usually puts them out?
I'm a firm believer that mineral needs to be out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days in a year, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Deer need it. And we can, that's a whole nother show.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
But because I'm big into growing antlers, and we produced over 60 booners 2 years in a row now.
Wow.
So I'm not, you know, and in fact, I had 4 different customers text me today pictures of their slammers that they got already, and they are like ecstatic.
Yeah.
They've never had, you know, they said they've never, because our mineral grows a lot of what I call a lot of junk. You know, It grows kickers and stickers and
trash.
And on an average, it does. These guys are just like, they can't believe it. They can't believe it. And I'm like, I told you.
Right.
You know, and I got oodles and oodles of pictures to prove it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Doug, thanks so much for coming on live with us. Jess had to go pick up the kids, so she ran out. But thanks I think people are learning, and they know that if they call, they're actually going to talk to a real person, and that real person is going to be the owner and the head honcho of Horny Buck Seed. And that's why, I mean, I give people your personal cell phone number because it's right there on the website. It's not like I'm giving out something that's a secret.
I know, and I mean, I tell people this too. If you need to get a hold of me, and if you're a texter, and I mean, I'm over 50 years old, and I text, and I never thought I ever would, just shoot me a text first, because about 80% of the time, I'm either with a customer or I am on a phone with a customer.
Fact.
So I don't want somebody to leave me a 9-minute message and then I got to call you back anyway.
Right.
You know, so just sit there and, hey, Doug, I got a couple questions on food plot. Let me know when you got a second to give a call. I will text you when I'm available, and if you're available, I'll call you. No problem.
Right. Okay, Doug. Well, thanks so much. We learned a lot, and we appreciate everything you do. And if you're in the Midwest or South, you better be getting your food plots in immediately. If you're in Kansas or Missouri or Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, anywhere like that, get them in now. And if you're in Oklahoma or whatever, or Texas or anywhere like that, get your soil test done now, because you'll be getting them back just in time. And like Doug said, make sure you're spraying and then mowing. So anyways, thanks guys.